And today we're also going to have a presentation from Tsinghua University, which is the #1 university in China. They're going to introduce the 2021 intake and their Masters of ICPM program. So here is a bit about me. So I'm from UK, I'm China Admissions, and I'm based in Beijing. I'm in Beijing at the moment. And I studied in Peking University, Beijing Language and Culture University, and China Europe International Business School in Shanghai. I studied on their bootcamp program. And now at China Admissions, we help lots of students to study in China from all over the world, and we cooperate with lots of universities in China. And we have a very simple online platform that you can use for free to apply to universities in China. So here today, I'm going to introduce why to study in China, how to choose programs, the application process, the Tsinghua University ICPM program, and then some top tips and frequently asked questions. And you can also ask questions there. And then at the end, I'm going to introduce about scholarships and how to apply for the scholarship. I'm going to give you more information about how to get the CSC scholarship and the process for that. For the FAQ, you can just leave any questions in the comments here, and I'll get back to you at the end. So about us, we're an award-winning platform for students to apply to universities in China. So we cooperate with over 200 universities, and we have over 150,000 students who are registered on our platform. And we have won a number of awards for foreign entrepreneurs in China. Our team is international and Chinese, so we're a very mixed team, and we come from many different countries. We can speak different languages. And most of us have studied in China before, so we can understand what it's like, what the process is for you guys. We also have won the Chaoyang Phoenix Grant, which is from the Beijing government. And we also won the Holan IQ China EdTech Top 100. So that means as the top 100 EdTech companies in China. And on our platform, you can apply to any university in China. So you can search on our platform and then apply to the university. Why China Admissions? So as we were foreign students in China, we realized it's really difficult to find the information about universities, and it's really difficult to communicate, and it's really difficult to apply to universities in China. So we just make everything really simple. We're free. So it means that you don't have to pay any service fee to us. It's 100% free because we're funded by the universities. So on our platform, you still need to pay the application fees, which is for the universities, and that goes towards covering your visa and sending your admission notice to you in your home country. We're one platform for all, so you can use our platform to apply to 3, 5, 10 universities, but you probably don't need to apply to that many. So you can apply to any university on our platform. And we're very reachable and very responsive. So you can just contact us by email or send us a message on our platform, and we'll reply very quickly. Normally it's 6 hours, 10 minutes. And this even includes in the nighttime. So we have people working all 24 hours. So sometimes you'll get it in 6 hours, 10 minutes, nighttime, weekend, same thing. So why should you study in China? There's so many good reasons to study in China. I wanted to study in China myself because I didn't actually intend to stay in China this long. I wanted to study in China because I wanted to learn the Chinese language. I was at university in the UK and I thought that I want to study some Chinese. I thought it would be a very useful language in the future. So I started my journey by studying 1 semester at Peking University. And it's definitely a very, very useful subject. If you can speak very good Chinese, then you have a lot of opportunities as China becomes much larger economy and there are more work and job opportunities in the future. So a lot of students want to come to China to study Chinese. And right now it's the #2 most popular study destination in the world. It's #1 in Asia, and there's over 500,000 international students studying in China. This is not at the moment because of the pandemic, students can't come to China. I will introduce a bit more about that later and what's going to happen for next year and the situation. But still, students can't come. But we're waiting for update about that. And we're hoping that there should be some good news next year for next year intakes. And the universities in China are rising very, very quickly up the league tables. So Tsinghua University is #1 in China. And it's like Tsinghua and Peking are often joint number one in China. And if you look in the world rankings, every year the universities have been rising very quickly. So the number one for computer science or engineering, Tsinghua, is very high up in the ranking. And all of the other universities are rising very quickly because they're investing in China. The government is investing a lot of money into the education, into the universities. So you can look at this, Zhejiang University, Shanghai Jiaotong, Sun Yat-sen as examples. These are some of the top universities. One of the other big advantages of studying in China is it's very cheap, especially compared to other countries. The living expense is very cheap and the tuition fee is much cheaper as well. So you can study in China for a language program, about $1,000 per semester, about 7,000 RMB. A degree program can be from 1,500. There's some very low cost degree programs, and there's also a lot of scholarships as well. And you can also go up, so you can go up to 13,000 or a bit more for the really high end programs. The accommodation often is really subsidized in the university. So there are some universities that the cost is about $300 per year because they will pay, it will be very cheap for the accommodation, which is what you could spend in London or New York in a 1 week. And yeah, the off-campus is a bit more expensive. It depends on the city. So Beijing and Shanghai is a bit more expensive, but in other second, third tier cities, the price is cheaper. It's still very cheap compared to other countries. And the living expenses also can be really cheap. And it kind of depends on each student. But if you're living in a university and you can actually get by on a very low cost every month because the meals are very, very cheap. So some people can spend $10 per day in the university on food, and they're good meals. And it's very cheap to get around in the cities as well. The cost of transport is very cheap as well. And also the country is developing really fast. So I'm going to show you a video now. So I'm going to show you a construction project in China, and this is an example of how fast things are happening in China. So how many of you guys have been to China before? So if you've been to China, you will know that just by living in China, you'll see all of these different things just being developed really quickly. So the infrastructure is being really developed really quickly in China. So yeah, so the technology is advancing really quickly. Today is Singles Day, and there's a lot of sales in China today, a lot of promotions today. Everything is digital in China. It's very easy to use, and many people think that it's maybe China's not that efficient, but actually it's really, really efficient. It's becoming very easy to live in China. It's becoming very efficient. So everyone is using smartphones. There's these huge companies in China that are developing these smartphone apps that are super useful, and they're very far ahead of many companies in the West. They're very easy to use, and it's amazing to be living in this environment. It's also great for opportunities as well because the technology is developing very fast. And it's also an amazing adventure to come to China. You can meet lots of amazing people, ambitious people, cool people. You can travel a lot. Chinese food is amazing. And you can get a really global mindset as well. So it really helps you to see things from a different perspective. And this is one thing that I found because I come from UK, and I feel like many people don't understand China that much. And so I wanted to come to China and to see what it was really like. And I feel like I've got a more complete understanding of what the world is like from living in China. And I can understand things from a Chinese perspective as well. And it's fascinating. There's many things you can learn. So now all the admissions are going ahead as normal for 2021 intake. So you can apply for admissions in March after the Spring Festival and September 21. The border is still not open, so you're still not able to come. For this September 2020 intake, as soon as there's any update, so students are just studying online at the moment, and then when it's open, they will be able to come to China. So you'll be able to, you can apply now and then come later. Admissions are all ongoing, so lots of students are applying now for 2021 intake. Many students think that China is a very safe place, very good place to study, because it's the very good situation in China. It's very safe. I can go outside. I feel like everything is very safe. I still need to be careful. There's lots of restrictions, but I feel very happy, like very pleased in how it's been managed in China, and I feel very grateful and very safe here. And there's over 4,000 programs in China in English, so there's a lot of programs that you can study, a lot of choices, and a lot of great choices. So now I'm going to introduce some of the popular programs, and I won't be able to go through all of them. We have our platform, so you can search more details about the other ones later. So here we have medicine programs. There's so many students applying for medicine because it's really popular. Many people want to be doctors, especially now during the pandemic. So there's lots of great low-cost medicine programs in China, and they're really popular. You can also study bachelor, master's, and PhD. So these are some programs that you can apply for March 2021 intake, and they're going ahead as normal. So in business, and this is the website that you can search for. And for MBA programs for 2021 intake, here we have CEIBS, CKGSB, and Zhejiang University International Business and IMBA program. There's also a Fudan MBA program, really top programs that you can choose. And we actually have a guide that we just released today about MBA in China. So I suggest if you're interested in that, you can have a look, and I'll send you the link after as well. And there's a lot of dual degree programs. So many people are interested to get, lots of people want to study in the UK. Actually, you can get a joint degree program. So you can get a degree from Liverpool and XJTLU, which is a university in Suzhou. They have amazing programs. Nottingham have a campus in China, so you can study that and get a UK degree in China. And the AEBS, Asia Europe Business School, is a joint program with Emlyon, which is a top French school, and ECNU, which is in Shanghai. And this is a very popular joint program, a dual degree program as well. If you want to study for September 2021 intake, you can also apply to study in March. And then you can study one semester Chinese before you start in September 2021 intake. So these are a few programs that start in March. In China, you have two intakes, March and in September, so you can choose to study in that. Today we have a promotion for these programs because it's today's Singles Day. So for these two programs, there's a promotion. So for the first one, you can get 2 free classes, and you can get a 5% discount as well. So yeah, these are great programs that you can suggest that guys can be interested in as well. If you want to learn Chinese, the bottom one, you can study for 12 weeks. You can study this program, and it's a 12-week program, and the price is really, really affordable. And so I really suggest having a look at this if you want to study. You can get a certificate from BLCU. The program is all online. If you're interested to study online one-on-one classes, the top program could be really interesting for you as well. So this is about the application process. And how do you apply? So first of all, you need to choose the program. Then you can apply online. After that, you can complete the application process. So then you can complete the application process, upload the documents, pay the application fees, and submit the application. And then after you have submitted your application, we will help to submit it to the university. Then the university will give a decision whether they accept or not. Then you can pay the deposit to the university if you're accepted. And this university will send the visa and admission notice to you in your home country. And then you can apply for the visa at the Chinese embassy and then come to China, depending on the coronavirus situation. This is the situation. So how do you apply? You can choose the course from the platform here. So you can search on the platform on this page. Just search what is it you want to study. You can use the filters on the side to if you want to study masters and choose your intake. And then when you've chosen the course, you can then apply and just click apply, and we have a simple application process. These are the documents that you need depending on which program you're applying for. So if you're applying for a non-degree program, you can choose the passport, photo. These are the documents you need to prepare. For bachelor's, you need a few more documents. For master, you need recommendation letters, and for PhD, you also need a research proposal. So you need to get approval from the supervisor, and you need to send a research proposal about what you're going to study. So we have a lot more information about these documents on our platform, so you can just go through our application process, and we have help on each application, on each document with more information, and we have videos as well how to explain it. If you're applying for an English program and you sometimes you need a TOEFL or IELTS score, or you can, if you studied in English before or you're native English, you don't need it. We also have an IET test, which you can take online. It's like an online test that you can do to check your English level, and that can be used for the university as well. If you're applying for a Chinese taught program, you'd need to have a HSK certificate as well. So that can help you, that can enable you to get into the Chinese program. If you're applying to any university, it's always good, even if you're studying in English, it's definitely an advantage to have studied Chinese. So it would be good if you are interested to study in China to start learning Chinese online as soon as possible, so that it can help you in your application. If you want to study MBA or anything, if you have some Chinese level before, it will be very strong in your application. So the application fee, what is the application fee? It's required to process your application. It's normally like $80 US, $150 US, and you can just pay online through any of these methods. So how do you choose? You can choose the major, like what do you want to study in the future? And based on that, look at your budget. So how will you fund it? I'm going to talk a bit more about scholarships later and options for that. You can also choose by location. If you prefer to live in a city like Beijing or Shanghai, or you prefer to live in a lower cost city, if you prefer to live in the south, which may be a bit warmer, or in the north, if you don't mind, Harbin maybe is a bit colder. Some students prefer to stay in the south. I'm in Beijing. I think the weather is fine here. And Shanghai is also a very popular city. We also have a quiz on our platform, so you can choose the quiz, and it can help you to find the perfect program for you. So some tips for you. How do you choose the program? So if you want to study now for China, you can look at 2021 intake. It's definitely a good idea because you can apply for a Chinese language program for one semester, and then you can get into September. Actually, there's a few universities like that will actually give you one semester for free in Chinese if you apply for master, or if you apply for bachelor in September. So like, for example, XJTLU would offer that. So that can be a good choice if you're ready to get going. So the guidelines on how you can be successful in your application. Firstly, you need to meet the eligibility criteria. Secondly, you need to have good academic performance, and you need to have, like, all of these things. You need to have good, strong application. So, do you guys have any questions? If you can write any questions in the chat, and I can see if I can answer some of these.